All right, howdy ho ho, my good humans. How the hell are you doing? This is Unnecessary Rambling. I'm Brandon Sylvia. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, for stopping by to talk about Summer Game Fest 2024. And yeah, we'll go over the show. I'll talk about the big reveals, the games that stood out to me, the titles that really made a bit of an impact. There weren't many, if we're being totally honest, or at least in my opinion, there weren't a lot of games this year at Summer Game Fest that really jumped off the screen at me. I thought it was being real, in recent memory, I can't think of a worse Summer Games Fest than this one. It was pretty rough. Pretty rough. So I think now we have our barometer. We have our understanding. If Keeley says it's an 8 out of 10 show, expect more around a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10-ish show. There were solid titles here. There were things worth talking about, which is the point of this video. So we'll, really just focus in on the best reveals. I would say for myself personally, I'm somewhere around that 5 out of 10 range for the show overall. You can maybe get it into a D, but I feel like I'd really be stretching to do that. So yeah, I'd say somewhere around that 5 out of 10 range. Not great at all, but yeah, like I said, I'm just going to talk about the big reveals here, the notable stuff worth mentioning, so I'll probably miss out on a few things. If there's anything that you're like, hey man, I think that looked really solid, hit me in the comments down below, because with a showcase like this where you're talking about 850 different games and you're not sure, is that an ad or what's kind of all in that, like all this shit going through, so there's very, very likely a chance that I missed out on something that was pretty solid. So definitely hit me in the comments down below with anything that I miss out on. So the show starts off with Lego Horizon Adventures, and this is coming holiday 2024, so right around the corner. I think that's a great holiday game. The big kind of interesting detail here is that it's coming to PC, Switch, as well as PlayStation. So not Xbox, which is fucking, I mean, I was going to say I kind of get it, but at the same time I kind of don't. Why Switch but not Xbox? Like I could understand PC and PlayStation but not Switch and Xbox, but if you're going to put it on Switch, why not also Xbox? But yeah, I talked about this before. I honestly don't think this is a bad idea. Horizon is, a lot of people think of it as like, a pretty in-depth, intricate franchise with like a lot of lore and heavy storytelling going on. But if you think about it, it is a T-rated game, and that you should widen that market as much as possible. And creating a Lego game allows a younger audience to get introduced to this franchise, and hopefully can make some fans of that younger demographic who will go on to buy the actual mainline game. So I do understand it from a business standpoint. I don't think the game looked bad at all. We got a pretty in-depth gameplay trailer. Looked like maybe some multiplayer going on here. You're building your base and customizing your character with different outfits and all that shit. So yeah, Lego Horizon Adventure. I don't think that it looks, it's probably not going to be something I pick up, but at the same time, I enjoyed the first Lego game I ever played was the what was it, the Skywalker Saga in 2021, 2022. I had a damn good time with that. So I'm not necessarily against checking out these Lego games. Quidditch, I believe they're calling it Quidditch Champions. We got the new Quidditch game revealed for the first time, and it is releasing September 3rd. We didn't see much of anything here, and the little bit that we did see, I don't know. I kind of got like a weird vibe with this. I didn't think it looked great at all. It's coming day one to PlayStation Plus. It's coming from a studio called Unbroken Games, who pretty much seemingly they've mainly just assisted with games before. They assisted with Kill the Justice League, the latest Suicide Squad game, or really the only Suicide Squad game. But outside of that, they haven't done much other than like some mobile stuff. And so yeah, I'm not really all that optimistic for the Quidditch Champions title. We got another look at Star Wars Outlaws. This continues to look excellent. Saw some space combat, some stealth, just it. The thing that I'm the most pumped for with Outlaws is it seems like there is a wide variety of environments that you're going to be exploring. And that's like one of the open world killers for me as of late is just exploring the same boring planes one after another, and like slight changes to lighting, slight changes to, just like these very minute changes. And in Star Wars Outlaws, you see drastic overhauls between the different worlds you're exploring. So yeah, I'm very, very, very excited for Star Wars Outlaws. We got another look at Neva, the first official gameplay reveal, and this is releasing in 2024. I don't believe they put a specific date on it at this trailer, but it's from the creators of Gris, another 2D side-scrolling, beautiful, beautiful game. But in this trailer, you saw a little bit of combat in there as well. It doesn't look overly elaborate or complex or anything like that, but I that's kind of a good thing in my opinion for a game like this when you're really wanting to hone in on that art style and that emotional storytelling. You want to really hit those beats. Don't put people off with some annoying combat. Hit the beats that you're trying to hit and tell the story that you're trying to tell and keep people invested throughout it. So Neva is looking pretty solid. Civ 7. Civ 7 was announced. This is the game that 2K was teasing when they were talking about their beloved, a new entry in their beloved franchise will be getting revealed at Summer Game Fest. And to be totally honest, I should have known this when I was doing my predictions. Because, like, thinking about it, Mafia, if they're going to show off Mafia, that's a Game Awards trailer. You know what I mean? Like, my only logic was, okay, wow. Okay, if they're going to show Mafia, that must mean it's releasing like early 2025, where they would need a larger marketing window than the Game Awards. It's like, okay, that could make some sense, but now this makes more sense. Civilization, that's a good Summer Game Fest announcement, but yeah, no Mafia, no BioShock, not even Borderlands. But yeah, the Civ fans could be happy about this. I hope. I don't know. I'm not one of them. But it is coming to console day and date, so it'll be on PC and console releasing at the same time, I believe for the first time ever for the franchise. So that is big news. Black Myth Wukong, we got the pre-order trailer. Now with this, it's interesting because I don't think they mentioned anything about physical. And they showed like the steelbook, I think, or some sort of steelbook, but I feel like, and I should have checked this before coming in here and running my damn mouth, but I felt like it said something about digital. Like in the upper corner, and I'll try to find it and clip it in here, but I thought it said something about like digital steelbook or some shit. Like, what the fuck is a digital steelbook? So that could be just me totally misrepresenting the situation here, but yeah, I hope that gets a physical release. I'll definitely be checking it out if it does. We've already seen quite a bit on this game. No need for anything more. We just got the, quick little teaser trailer announcing that pre-orders are available. So, oh, and also, I saw that this game was delayed. The Xbox version won't launch at the same time as the PS5 and PC version. And it said something about trying to optimize, get the Xbox Series versions optimized. And I'm like, God dang it. That's, that's sort of undercover language for saying this Series S is giving us trouble. Or at least to me, that reads as like, oh yeah, the Series S is giving us trouble. We're trying to optimize that version, and that way we can get it launched on Xbox. And yeah, so it's just another one of those situations. In my opinion, I could be very, very wrong, but it just seems like another one of those situations where the Series S is causing a fucking blunder. But Black Myth Wukong, it is releasing very soon, I believe August, if I'm not mistaken, for PlayStation 5 and PC. Next up, we have Batman Arkham Shadow, and I'm not going to lie, this is the VR game. This trailer was kind of fucking dope, at least from an atmosphere and tone perspective. It kind of felt like the Robert Pattinson Batman. It sort of had that vibe, even with the Nirvana song in that trailer, the first Batman trailer. It kind of felt like it was the song and the everything about this trailer was seemingly trying to follow along with that tone. In my opinion, it just had like this eerie sort of sensibility that I really vibed with. Obviously, no gameplay was shown whatsoever, because that's the part that they're probably going to avoid at all costs. They did say that we'll be getting a gameplay trailer at Gamescom, so I think that's when I think that's when all the hype is really going to die out for Batman Arkham Shadow. But I will say, it just as a tone setter, I think this trailer was really solid as a tone setter. I imagine the gameplay will, yeah, I'm not too optimistic about that. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. We finally got the release date for this, October 11th. It's getting a physical release as well. I've been in my bag with fighting games lately. I've really been enjoying them. Just, going through and playing the story. I don't want to dive into the competitive scene or anything like that. And I really enjoyed jumping back into Kakarot. Because, when I was a kid, I fucking loved Dragon Ball Z. But I haven't really followed along or kept up with anything in, at this point, over 20 years. So it's very nostalgic to me to jump back into these universes, and now that I'm kind of getting back into the groove of fighting games and able to actually jump into these games and play them on, normal difficulty settings and shit, and not get totally obliterated by the by the AI. I do think I will be checking out Sparking Zero on October 11th. The physical, which you gotta assume it's going to be released physically. That's one of those games that you want sitting on the store shelf, but yeah, it looks fucking excellent, and I'll be checking it out October 11th. And next up here, we had the announcement that maybe was the most interesting to me, the one I was the most curious about going into this show, and that was just what Blumhouse's involvement in the game space was going to be. And it seems they are going to be a publishing outfit. They're going to be funding small, independent horror games, and they really wanted to emphasize, genre variety within the horror space, so tackling a bunch of different subgenres. So we have Crystal Theater of Idols from Vamilla. This is a first-person horror adventure game. And then we have Grave Seasons from Perfect Garbage. This is a farming sim kind of murder, farming sim meets murder style game. We have Sleep Awake from Eyes Out. This is a first-person it says a first-person game that takes place in a distant future, following a girl named Katja as she struggles against dangerous enemies and her own self. And by the way, I have this pulled up from Polygon. I'll link to it so you can read the full thing. I just wanted to kind of give you a quick summarized version of the variety of genres that they're highlighting here. We have Fear the Spotlight from Cozy Game Pals. This is an old school survival horror game that is heavily inspired by the PlayStation 1 era, where the protagonist must solve the mystery of her local high school while avoiding the scorching days of the deadly spotlight. And then we have The Simulation from Play Me Studio, a surrealist adventure game where a developer is brought in to consult on a criminal case, and the central mystery can only be solved through a horror game prototype. And then this is the most compelling thing to me, and I can't believe I actually kind of, I'll give myself a little pat on the back here. In the last episode of the podcast, I kind of predicted this. And once again, not an insider, had no inside information into this. It just felt like this made sense to me, that Blumhouse would partner up with a prolific, known developer in the horror space. And that is exactly what they did here. Project C from Half Mermaid. This mysterious project is helmed by Sam Barlow from Her Story and Immortality. And then Brandon Cronenberg from Infinity Pool. So, yeah, Blumhouse coming out swinging with 6 game announcements back to back to back. Gonna be really curious to see how all of this pans out. Each game, like I said, when you look at it in the showcase, they all do look distinctly unique, and they set themselves apart from one another. And I think that's a really good sign that they at least have some clear vision on what they're trying to tackle with this publishing outfit. So I'm very hopeful. Love horror games. So another publisher funding great independent horror games, I'm all on board for that. And next up here we have Deer and Boy, kind of some inside-ish vibes on this one, coming from a 2-man team that never made a game before, and now they have scaled up to an 8-man team, and Keeley made sure to point that out, and every time it was an independent game or, from a small crew, Keeley made sure to to note that because I don't know, I could be reading into it, but that Kotaku article that came out earlier where it was talking about it's $250,000 to get a 1 minute ad to run on the Game Awards or Summer Games Fest. I don't know. This just kind of felt like Keighley really wanting to point out, hey, we got independent developers that we're showcasing front facing, and then they're here and they're happy to be here, and don't worry about what we got going on behind the scenes. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't even when I saw that article go around and it was like $250,000. Like I remember hearing stories about $10 million booths for E3 for these publishers. They had to put together like $10 million booths to be a part of E3. So I don't know, man. But Deer and Boy, it did look pretty cool. Kind of, like I said, Little Nightmares, inside vibes. Shout out to it, small team. We also got another look at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and it still looks absolutely fucking excellent. Great humor. The world environments look excellent. You got old buddy laying some pipe in the trailer. Just a lot of fun shit going on in this game. You got bow battles taking place, on foot sort of sword and axe battles. You're manipulating the environment, dropping the ladder so the enemies can't scale up the castle. It looks so fucking fun. It looks like legitimately fun, and that's like the main takeaway I have when looking at this game, when I'm seeing people jumping off of horses, shooting motherfuckers with the bows and shit. Like, it just genuinely looks fun the entire time. And I know that supposedly the first game was extremely, extremely tedious, so I'm hoping that they can kind of iron a lot of that stuff out. The one thing that worries me is that we didn't get a release date for this, and it's supposed to come out this year, so I kind of would assume it might get delayed into like early 2025, but it's obviously really far along in development. We've seen a good bit of this game, and it was just shown off like a month or two ago. So yeah, looks fucking excellent. Slitterhead, been a long ass time since this was revealed. It's coming from the original creator of Silent Hill, but this is definitely not in that wheelhouse whatsoever. This is more of a third-person action horror game where you can seemingly possess different bodies. Like, you got people roaming the street, and you're using some ability to possess these different bodies that are roaming the street. And it seems very melee combat focused, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't think the combat looks good. Like not good at all. It looked really rough in that trailer, and I'm hoping that this is just one of those things where, like, in this trailer it seemed like there was so much going on that it might have been hard to really hone in and focus in on what makes this game special when you're slicing shit up and, stitching together all these different cuts of the trailer. I'm hoping that's the case, and that whenever we see a 15-minute chunk of it running, we're like, oh, okay, now I get a better idea of how this game is going to function on a moment-to-moment basis. So we shall see. Killer Bean! This was fucking awesome. This was so cool. Unfortunately, it is a roguelike. That killed my hype a lot, but this looks fucking fantastic. You're zipping around on jet skis. It kind of has like a High on Life vibe to it, but you're swapping between first person and third person combat. The third person melee combat actually looked really good, and yeah, you're just going around as this weird ass character in this action-adventure spy game. And we get so few action-adventure spy games at all that, I don't know, if this is the way that I have to play a damn spy game in 2024, I might have to be there checking it out. Bummer for sure. Massive bummer that it's a roguelike, but hopefully that can be avoided and you can just play the cool-ass spy shit. And next up, I guess old Kojima. I guess Kojima was right about the Strand game catching on. We got Jasant last year. We're getting Baby Steps this year. And now we got, I'm going to butcher this name, but I think it's Carrion. It looks to be maybe a bit more of a narrative-leaning climbing game. Hell, this might be more of a Jasant clone than a Kojima clone. But it seems to be really focused on the surviving the climb and training to be able to conquer this mountain, and you're doing some push-ups, and they have some cutscenes in there, so it's maybe leaning a little bit more into the narrative than Jasant was. But yeah, hey, I thought Jasant from a mechanical standpoint was interesting. There wasn't enough there to really make me stick with the game, but I shall check out. I don't even know if Carrion, I believe is the name of this title. Definitely. It looked like it was well funded. I'll say that. Like, it looked like there was a decent budget behind this game. And next up, we have Wanderstop. And this is coming from the creator of the Stanley Parable. And it's being published by Annapurna. And on the surface, it looks, kind of like a cute little farming sim game. But towards the end of the trailer, you can see the character really experiencing some pretty intense emotions. I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know if she's having like a full-blown panic attack. I don't know if she's experiencing like some Senua-style psychosis, or I don't know, maybe even hallucinating. Like, I wonder if that character at the end of the trailer that she's interacting with, is that character actually real? Like, all of these thoughts sort of spawn from that trailer. And I think that's something that Annapurna is usually pretty good at, is spotlighting those weird titles that on the surface look like one thing but end up being something completely different. So this usually wouldn't be on my radar as like, oh hey, I'm gonna go play a farming sim kind of cozy. Like, it's not really my thing. But creator of Stanley Parable, Annapurna published, some dark elements towards the end of that trailer. Okay, well, you got my attention. The First Descendant. We finally got the release date for this game, and it's coming very, very soon, July 2nd. This is that third-person looter shooter, and they really went through a lot of work to highlight the story in this trailer. So I know games of this genre don't typically focus on the story too much. I'm hoping this will be a little bit more than a 5-minute cutscene at the beginning of the game and a 5-minute cutscene to end the game. But yeah, they went through a lot of effort to highlight the story in this trailer, and with the game coming out so soon, I kind of wonder, maybe we will actually get a little bit of a story in The First Descendant. But the shooting looks damn solid. We've seen quite a bit of gameplay from this. Gives me some, I don't know, Remnant vibes a little bit in there. But yeah, third person looter shooter, pretty solid story trailer here. And next up, we had a new publisher was announced, Innersloth. The Among Us creators are now funding smaller games, which is dope. And they're funding the next game from the creators of Thirsty Suitors. And it's like more of a mech style game, but with similar cooking mechanics and shit going on. And I really enjoyed Thirsty Suitors. So, shit yeah, man. But probably, and I think this might be an indictment on the quality of the show overall, but my favorite announcement of the entire show, I would have to say, was Sam Lake coming out. And he says something to the effect of, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, on social media with their collection of Remedy games, and they got all the Remedy games, and they're all sitting there on their shelf. But that one title is missing, Alan Wake 2. And then he announced that tomorrow we will be able to pre-order that motherfucker, and I shall be buying that immediately. I will be there for sure, supporting that. And I think that this is one of those pretty important moments for physical media connoisseur, physical media collectors, whatever the fuck you want to call us. People who appreciate physical media. I think this is one we need to get behind, because that was a game that, Alan Wake 2, it wasn't profitable in its first year. And I think if we make a sizable dent in that revenue, like if we bring them, if we cross them into the green, if we make them profitable off the back of the physical sales of this game, like, I think that's a big win for this market in kind of ensuring that we'll continue to get big publishers supporting physical media and putting their games on disc and shipping it out to retailers. And yeah, just every now and then you have one of those pivotal moments where it's like, if this if this doesn't go the way it should go, it might be bad news. And I'm not trying to doom and gloom or anything, but yeah, I'm going to be there supporting this for sure. And I hope that this is one of those things where I hope articles come out 3-4 months after the physical version drops and the pre-orders drop. I hope it's one of those articles that come out where Remedy's talking about huge profits off the back of their physical run of Alan Wake 2, and then it gets picked up by all the publications. They're like, holy shit, Remedy turns a massive profit off of Alan Wake 2. I want to see one of those positive stories about physical media, because we get so many horror stories. It's like, let's just get one. Let's get one win. This is a fucking win. I'm so excited. We'll be buying it for sure. And that's the thing. I know a lot of people held off on playing Alan Wake 2 because there wasn't a physical version available. And it's like, look, if you're a premier AAA game, narrative-driven game, and you look at the Sony sales, man, you hate things being leaked, but those Insomniac leaks were really telling. The majority of high-quality single-player, like premier AAA narrative-driven Sony first-party games, they still sell either more physically or kind of like a 50-50 split between physical and digital. Sure, I understand all the studies out there of digital takes over fucking 80% of video game sales, but that's also including PC, mobile, live service, things where physical media isn't supported at all. But when you're looking at premier AAA narrative-driven games, people still like buying those motherfuckers. So yeah, I was hyped about this. It was also announced that the Night Springs DLC will be available tomorrow as well. So a big win for Alan Wake fans and physical media fans as well. And you got 3 playable characters in the DLC. You got fucking Jesse Faden in there in this, crazy, silly, but also simultaneously spooky world. Just sick as shit. Shout out to Sam Lake. Shout out to Alan Wake. I will be there picking up that physical copy tomorrow. And then we had Path of the Goddess finally got a release date for July 19th. And man, like this summer really is starting to shape up a little bit. I don't know if I'll be picking up Path of the Goddess. It's, cool tower defense, third person action style game. If I'm not really sure what I know. Oh, fucking NCAA 2025. I think releases right around that same time. So I'll still be playing NCAA 2025. So I probably won't pick up Path of the Goddess. But Capcom is on such a hot streak that even if they put out a game in a genre that I'm not really all that into, I'm like, maybe I should. Even like Exoprimal, I thought about playing. I was like, I really don't want to. I don't want to put myself through that just because it's a Capcom game. But this looks a little bit more my speed. So Path of the Goddess looks damn good, coming out July 19th. And then we had, unfortunately, probably the worst trailer of the show, in my opinion, for maybe the game that I'm the most excited for out of anything that was announced here. I could be wrong on that, but in terms of hype, it's hard to beat Skate right now. Everybody, or a lot of people, are highly anticipating the next Skate game just to see what the fuck it is, see what that finished version is going to look like. And I think we're still quite a ways out from that. They had like this Office sort of parody lead-in trailer where this company, M Corp, seemingly fucking up the city, yada, yada, yada. And then it cuts to gameplay, and it looks... I don't know, dude. It definitely looks very live servicey. You can obviously see that's no secret about that. They are leaning into the free-to-play live service direction. But it just looked a little cheap to me. And I know, listen, it's still, like I said, we're still probably years out from this thing releasing, unfortunately. But yeah, console playtesting is coming this fall. I don't know. I don't have a lot of positive things to say here. I don't think this is going to pan out all that well. Monster Hunter Wilds popped back up with a slightly more in-depth trailer than we got at the State of Play. I don't really even know if that's true. Maybe kind of same level of depth trailer that we got at the State of Play with some slight iterations, some different gameplay things that you saw on offer. But it's sort of the same takeaway that I had from State of Play. It just looks so fucking good. The game just looks so fucking good. And I'm not a Monster Hunter guy whatsoever, but I'll definitely be hopping into Monster Hunter Wilds after, playing Dragon's Dogma 2 this year, and Loon telling me, my buddy who I do the podcast with, telling me that, it's very, Dragon's Dogma is very inspired by Monster Hunter, and I'm, okay, well, let me jump into this. If the combat is similar in any way, shape, or form, I'll probably have a blast with it. And just seeing the monsters colliding with each other in these trailers, that's one of the things that gets me the most hype for Monster Hunter. It's just seeing these fucking behemoths battling each other. Like, I just kind of want to, take a stroll down these wild wastelands and look at these monsters beating the shit out of each other. Yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds looks great. It's going to be at Gamescom, playable at Gamescom. So I would imagine that around August we will be getting our first hands-on previews of Monster Hunter Wilds. And then I hate to be rude, but this was wild to me. I guess pun intended. Phantom Blade Zero was the final game of the show. I think the game looks fine. It looks maybe even good. More of this like Stellar Blade, Ninja Gaiden-esque third-person action game. And it looks good. It does look good. From everything we've seen of it so far, it looks good. But for a final game of the show, it's just, I don't know. That seems kind of crazy. But when I'm looking at the lineup of everything that was here, it's like Monster Hunter Wilds, you can't have that as the final game of the show because I was already shown off at the State of Play and the Game Awards. Skate, if it was better looking, maybe that could have worked as a final game of the show. Sam Lake coming out there to announce DLC, that's something that you've been teasing all week on Twitter, and that's something that just a DLC as the final game of the show, I don't know. I don't know. Looking through here, there's really not a lot at all that you can even have as your final game of the show. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, maybe that makes sense just to get the release date trailer. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Listen, I'll play Phantom Blade Zero when it comes out. I'll definitely play it. It looks fun for sure. It looks fun, but like final game of the show fun, I don't know about that. But yeah, overall, not an awful show. I would say, in order of hype for me, the most hype I got was for sure the Alan Wake 2 physical release. The most hype I got for a game was probably Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And if we're going new game, like brand new, I don't even, has Killer Bean, is that something that has been revealed before? If it has, correct me if I'm wrong, but that would probably be my favorite new reveal, if it is indeed a new reveal. So, not a great show, not a good show, not an average show, just not the best, but hey, Keeley has put together some fucking great shows. That 2022 Game Awards was fucking so good with Judas and a lot of big announcements, like world premiere reveals at that showcase. Obviously, I think 2021 was when he had the Elden Ring release date at the show, and even last year wasn't too bad. He had Spider-Man 2. He got the release date for that at the show, and more of an Alan Wake 2. They had more of a deep dive into Alan Wake 2. That was the Mortal Kombat one, and so he's had some good shows, and this I just wouldn't say is one of those good shows. But hey, we sat and learned about video games for a couple of hours. I'll always tune into these shows, even if I know they're going to be average to below average at best. So, yeah, cool to get to chill, learn about some new games for a couple hours. I'm very, very fucking excited for the Xbox showcase. Maybe do I need to temper my expectations a little bit? Maybe so. Maybe we are just kind of in a slow year for 2024. But I do think I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to talk about what has been leaked or whatever, but there's been things that have been leaked that are like, oh, okay, this showcase might be. And last year, it was the best showcase of the year. Anyways, I'm going to quit rambling. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Catch me on Sunday. Loon and I will be reviewing the Xbox showcase on Sunday. I'm going to try to get this up and edited pretty quickly so it can be available for you tonight. Might be tomorrow at the latest, but you shall see it on your YouTube feed very soon. Appreciate you guys. See you all in the next video. Goodbye.